Before you can truly understand life, before you can find peace in relationships, purpose in work, or meaning in your pain, you must first understand yourself, because everything you experience, joy, sorrow, confusion, love, is filtered through the lens of who you are. And if you don't know who that you is, you'll spend your life chasing shadows. You'll chase approval instead of peace. You'll chase success instead of meaning. You'll chase people instead of purpose. Understanding yourself is the beginning of freedom. It's not something you learn in school. It's not something you can buy, borrow, or fake. It's something you uncover, layer by layer, truth by truth, silence by silence. Part 1. The mask you wear from childhood. We are given masks. We're told what's good and what's bad. We learn how to earn love and how to avoid pain. We learn that if we behave a certain way, we'll be accepted. If we speak softly, we'll be praised. If we hide our sadness, we'll be seen as strong. So little by little, we stop being ourselves and start being what the world expects us to be. We become the good student, the obedient child, the friend who always listens, the adult who always smiles, even when we're breaking inside. But one day the mask becomes heavy, and the soul beneath it starts whispering, "This isn't me." That's when the journey begins, the journey of self-understanding. Part 2. The questions that awaken. You understanding yourself begins with questions. Not the kind you ask others, but the ones you ask when the world goes quiet. Questions like, who am I when no one is watching? What am I running from? What am I trying to prove? What do I truly want? These questions may sound simple, but they require bravery to answer, because often the truth hurts. It forces you to admit that you've been living on autopilot, that your dreams aren't really yours, that your fears are inherited, that your confidence is a mask for your pain. But without asking these questions, you'll never uncover the real you. Part 3. Your emotions are messages. Understanding yourself means learning to listen to your emotions, not as enemies, but as teachers. When you feel jealous, it's not because you're bad, it's because you desire something deeply. When you feel angry, it's not because you're broken, it's because a boundary was crossed. When you feel anxious, it's not because you're weak, it's because you're in an environment that doesn't feel safe. When you feel numb, it's not because you don't care, it's because your heart is tired of pretending. Every emotion is a message from within. But most people try to silence those messages with distractions, with noise, with busyness. They drown out the whispers of their soul with endless scrolling, endless working, endless pleasing. But when you pause, when you breathe, when you sit with what you feel instead of running from it, you start to understand the real language of your soul. Part 4. The mirror of silence. In a world full of noise, silence becomes your greatest teacher. Sit in silence, not as punishment, but as discovery. Notice your thoughts. Watch them flow like clouds. At first, it's uncomfortable. The mind rebels. It brings up old regrets, fears, judgments. It whispers, "This is boring." But if you stay, if you breathe through it, something amazing happens. You start to notice the patterns of your mind. You see how often you criticize yourself. You hear how quickly you compare your life to others. You watch how fear disguises itself as logic. That's the beginning of awareness. Awareness is the flashlight that exposes the dark corners within you. Not to shame you, but to help you clean them. And slowly you realize you are not your thoughts. You are the one watching your thoughts. That awareness, that quiet witness inside you, that is your true self. Part 5. The roots of your story. You cannot understand yourself without understanding your story. Every belief, every fear, every reaction you have comes from somewhere. Maybe you fear failure because as a child, you were punished for mistakes. Maybe you crave attention because you were ignored when you needed love. Maybe you avoid conflict because peace always came with silence. Your past is not your prison, it's your map. When you trace your patterns back to their roots, you start to see the logic behind your pain. And once you see it, you can finally choose differently. That's the moment your life begins to change. Not because someone rescued you, but because you understood yourself deeply enough to heal. Part 6. Acceptance is freedom. Understanding yourself doesn't mean liking everything about yourself. It means being honest enough to say, this is who I am right now. Self-understanding without self-acceptance becomes self-criticism. You can't grow from hate. You can only grow from love. Acceptance means looking at your flaws, your failures, your fears, and then saying, I see you. You're part of me, but you don't define me. When you accept yourself, you stop fighting life. You stop pretending to be perfect. You stop apologizing for being human, and that's when true peace enters. Because peace doesn't come from fixing yourself. It comes from understanding yourself. Part 7. Know your values. To understand yourself, you must know your values. Values are the compass of your soul. Ask yourself, what do I truly care about? What would I stand for even if it cost me something? If you don't know your values, you'll constantly feel lost, because you'll be following other people's directions. When you know your values, honesty, kindness, growth, faith, creativity, your decisions become clear, your relationships become healthy, and your path becomes peaceful. Part 8. The power of solitude. Solitude is not loneliness. It's sacred time with your own spirit. In solitude, you remember who you are without the noise of the world. You realize how much of your identity was built on other people's opinions. You learn what you actually enjoy, not what you were told you should enjoy. You start hearing your own intuition. The quiet voice that says, this feels right. This doesn't. The more time you spend alone, the clearer your inner voice becomes. And one day it becomes louder than the world. That's when you're free. Part 9. The practice of understanding. Understanding yourself is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong practice, a relationship you build with your own soul. Here are practices that help you grow in self-awareness. Journaling. Write what you feel every day. Don't filter. Don't edit. Let your truth flow onto the page. Meditation. Sit in silence for 10 minutes daily. Observe your breath. Watch your mind. Honest reflection. Ask yourself weekly, what drained me? What inspired me? What patterns am I repeating? 4. Feedback. Listen when people you trust mirror back your behavior. Sometimes others can see what we can't. Boundaries. Notice what situations make you feel uncomfortable. That discomfort shows where you need to say no. It's curiosity. Instead of saying, I'm like this, ask, why am I like this? Curiosity turns judgment into growth. Compassion. Be gentle with yourself. You are learning, unlearning, and healing all at once. Part 10. When you finally understand yourself, something beautiful happens when you truly understand yourself. You stop chasing people who don't value you. You stop forcing yourself to fit into places you've outgrown. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You become calm, not because life got easier, but because you got clearer. You start making choices that feel like home. You attract people who align with your truth. You find work that matches your values. You express yourself without fear. And even in chaos, you remain centered. Because understanding yourself is understanding life itself. Part 11. You are ever changing. One of the greatest truths about self-understanding is this: you are not a fixed being. You are a river, constantly flowing, evolving, expanding. Who you were 5 years ago was real, but it's not who you are today. Understanding yourself means allowing yourself to change, to grow, to outgrow. It means not clinging to old versions of yourself out of guilt or fear. It means saying, yes, I was that person once, but now I'm becoming someone new. And that's beautiful. Because to understand yourself deeply is to realize that life is not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you've always been. Closing reflections tonight. Before you scroll through your phone again, before you worry about what others think, just pause. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes and ask softly, what do I feel right now? What am I not saying to myself? What part of me needs my attention? Listen, truly listen. You'll hear a small, quiet voice say, I'm still here. I've been waiting for you to notice me. That's your true self. The part that has watched you through every storm, loved you through every mistake, waited through every distraction. When you finally turn inward, you'll realize that the person you were searching for all along was you. Music fades to silence. Final words. Understanding yourself is not a destination, it's a lifetime journey. But every step you take towards self-awareness brings you closer to peace, clarity, and freedom. So walk gently, listen deeply, and remember, the greatest journey you will ever take is the journey within.